while we have spoken actively so far about revolutionizing the education system to best fit a future with artificial intelligence, we haven't yet spoken about how students would come to know of such revolutions. We haven't yet brainstormed a way to get students to know of the changing job markets and therefore the changing required skill sets. This is a job of informing students what they need to do and how skilled they need to be to success, which is provided prominently to counselors. And to guarantee smooth workings of our new educational system, we must counsel the counselors on all these new topics so they can accurately advise the younger generations. To speak more about counseling the counselor and who will bell the cat, we have Mr. Maheshwar Peri.
Mr. Maheshwar Peri is the founder of Careers 360. A passionate entrepreneur, he is a qualified CA, CMA, and ACS. He was associated with the Outlook Group for 17 years and headed it for more than 10 years. Mr. Mahesh believes that the demographic dividend India seeks can turn into a nightmare if youth are not shown the right direction to maximize their capabilities. Careers 360 is the result of his deep understanding of student issues and the information gaps that need to be filled to help students take an informed career decision.
Over to you, sir.
I hope this works. Is it working? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. So, oh gosh. Oh gosh, oh gosh. Okay. So, sometimes I keep going to schools and talking to students. Yeah. So I keep going to schools and talking to students. And very recently, I was in a public school where there was a mass, filling up of psychometric tests over a couple of hours. And I was called in to talk to the students, interpret them, and advise them. And there were already a bunch of counselors who were doing that. And there was one child who was told, and the assessment essentially told him that, listen, you shouldn't be doing chemistry, but you must do something else, which is commerce. And the child came to me running, crying, saying, I like chemistry. How do I take commerce? And the teacher from the far end shouts to him, I don't know whether she's a teacher or a counselor, saying, the form is correct, you are wrong. And this is not an exception as I see it, especially when we deal with counselors, because there is a lot of closed-ended stuff which says that a psychometric is far truer than what you yourself are. This month, I was counseling a student who's taken commerce because the school counselors told the girl to take commerce. Because again, the psychometric test went on, and it suggested that she is not good at certain subjects, and she was forced to take commerce. Thankfully, she also had math as one of the subjects. And math, she scored 100%. She only wanted to pursue maths, but she took commerce. Her other subjects were business studies, economics, and so on and so forth. And ultimately, she went on to do her BTech, or she's just about joining her BTech program. Everywhere I notice, there is a closed-ended perception of how a counseling must happen, which is that a psychometric test is what you administer, and whatever the test says is what it must be true. The other problem that I noticed amongst all the counselors, and which is where I felt, when Ravi called me up to say, listen, you need to give me a subject. I don't know how to give a subject. I can talk on a few issues, but I don't know how to give a subject. How do you write your own subject? Right? I was very agitated, Ravi, when you called me up, so I said counseling the counselor. I think the biggest challenge that we as a country will have moving forward, especially with NEP coming in, is how do we inform the people who inform students of how to go about their lives? How do we counsel the counselors to tell them that they are wrong and something else might be an option? Because reading and interpreting a psychometric test with a flowery language, because you have fantastic language skills. Most colleges these days talk about soft skills. They don't talk of skills. They talk of soft skills, which means a guy who makes a fantastic presentation is the best person, which means a preacher is the best person. A Narendran Chaudhary is the best person, if I may say so. And that is a challenge that we need to deal with. How do we ensure that our counselors are better informed? How do we ensure that the counselor is not an admission agent, for example? What's the difference between an admission agent and a counselor? Everyone calls themselves a counselor. So what I'm trying to do here is, go to the next slide, please. You have it? Oh, this one, right. So this is what I came up with. This is not something that someone quoted, please. Right. I personally think a counselor is an explorer of career paths. He must explore everything possible. He must be a navigator for the students, on behalf of the students. He must be a traveler. They must understand the student potential, are better informed. That's very crucial, right? Keep themselves updated, very crucial. Have great empathy and don't judge. Above all, they are good listeners and believe that every career succeeded is a life succeeded. Because in Indian context, this is extremely important. You look at parents, they'll invest everything that they have because they believe that the child will live up to their aspirations, and what they could not achieve, the parent believes that the child will achieve on their behalf. There is pressure on the child, but there is a lot of misinformation that happens. Oh. Right. Now, just ask a question. When you talk of a counselor, are you talking to an admission agent who is being paid to send your child to a particular college? Or are you talking to a person who wants to do the best for the student and he doesn't have a conflict of interest? And in career counseling, at this point in time, the conflict of interest is about 90%. 90%. Every counselor who's coming from outside has a conflict because they are representing certain institutions. And that is a challenge that you as school principals must ensure that your children are not exposed to. Why is it that when they come, only a set of 10 universities come along with them? Why not some better ones? Do they understand what is public education system? Do they understand what are the options? Like, for example, today, a student from commerce comes in, right? They tell you that, listen, you can do CA, you can do MBA. These are the obvious ones, obvious check marks, right? What happens next? You know, do they know in National Insurance Academy? Do they know Indian Institute of Capital Markets? Do they know that about 15 institutions are there which are only in finance, funded by the government of India, which are as good and better than anything else? The Indian Institute of Statistics has 100% placement record. They don't know anything about it. Chennai Mathematical Institute, they don't know anything about it. Actuarial Science, Indian Institute of Actuaries, they don't know anything about it. What they know is CA, MBA, and the usual stuff. Same thing, PCM, do BTech, IITs, NITs, and what next? So the problem is the lack of information as I see it. Right? Again, are they relying too much on tools? You must be very careful about it. How well informed is a counselor of courses, colleges, and pathways? Does your school have too many private and international universities? I have always wondered about schools, by the way, and I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. How is it that an unknown university coming from international colleges is able to come and talk to your students and tell them what is good for them? There are far better institutes within India. Why is it you don't seek them out? Have you ever sought a BITS Pilani person to come and talk to your students? Have you said that at a local college, you go to, say, for example, Bangalore, RV College is the best engineering college in the country. BMS College is the best engineering college. SSN College in Tamil Nadu, PSG, PES. Why don't they come to your schools? Why is it that all this Hulk University and all these guys come to your schools? There is something wrong about the way you go about doing it. And that is what you need to attack. Right? Just ask them a simple question. When you talk to a counselor, call a counselor to your school, just ask them basic questions. Can you do a BTech without being a PCM student? Is it possible? It is possible. But the answer would be, they'll be searching for answers. And that's a challenge, right? Can I do nursing when I'm not a PCB student? It is possible. Because at some point in time, you might change your pathway and say, okay, I need to deal with this. I like nursing. I want to be in nursing because there are job opportunities. But I'm not a PCB student. I'm stuck somewhere because someone threw me into arts or commerce. There's a pathway possible. I like chemistry, suggest a good college course. See, everyone knows IITs, NITs and all, but the moment you get down to fundamental sciences, everything falters. Because everyone knows the larger institutions which are having 100% placement records. But come down to fundamental sciences, come down to research, they all falter. And that is something that you must keep seeking. Suggest a good liberal arts program, because everyone talks of Ashoka, Jindal, Plaksha, you know the 10 tick marks, right? Ask them for a good liberal arts university which charges less than 1 lakh fee. They'll fall. And that is what I'm saying. When I say information ecosystem, they're not inbuilt to tackle the information ecosystem. Right? I'll just show you the kind of universe that we're dealing with 3 examples. I have 5 minutes more. Right? On our platform, we covered 4.57 lakh programs, which are offered by about 40,000 colleges. Right? You can see it at the bottom. Total offline programs, 4.57 lakh. In all, total degree programs are 3.91 lakh. Diploma is 43,000, and certification of 17,000. Now the next thing, these are the institutions that we cover. I won't jump onto this is meaningless for you guys. Now just think of this. You talked of the total programs that you have, 4.57 lakh. In sciences, you have 10,000, arts, 10,000, commerce, 8,000, and so on and so forth, right? Now look at the courses that you're dealing with. And look at the 15, 16, 17. In the 17 is hidden the real treasure. As you keep going down, because the normal ones of BSc, BCom, BA, IIT, MBA, all these things everyone knows. They're top 100 tick marks, right? But the moment you keep coming down and say, okay, there are 492 colleges offering courses in sustainable studies. How many of you know that? Right? There are about 228 colleges which are offering courses only in urban planning. And you keep going to the others, it opens a Pandora's box for you people. And that is what a counselor must be equipped to. They must not just talk of, okay, why don't you do BTech in civil computer sciences? That's an obvious answer. The thing is, when you keep going down and start scratching the surface, you realize that a lot more courses are very, very specialized. Like I told you, a lot of people know that the government of India has about IIMs, IITs, AIMS and all. There are 200 plus colleges that the government of India runs. Fashion ministry has one, leather ministry has one, skilling ministry has 10, commerce ministry has 20, shrimp farming has one, maritime ministry has 6, petroleum ministry has 8. Do they know those options? And everyone has a 100% placement record. Indian Statistical Institute, as I said, 8 campuses, 100% placement, they don't fill in the seats. Does the council know about it? And that's what you need to be dealing with. I'm taking 2 steps forward. We talk of engineering. Everyone knows these ones, computer sciences, electronics, mechanical, civil and all. Now look at the other side of it, right? You actually have oils, oleochemicals and surfactants technology degree, right? In all, by the way, there are 271 specializations within engineering. 271. Ask the counselor, with a lot of effort, they'll go up to 30. But there are 271 in the country which are being offered. These 271, they lead to about 27,800 plus courses, right? Now you keep going down. You have 5 institutions offering cement engineering only, genetic engineering, architecture, automotive, naval architecture and ocean engineering. One of the IITs offers ocean engineering course. And 100% placement because everyone in the maritime industry needs someone with ocean engineering. You don't know that. Medical engineering, pharmaceutical and fine chemical engineering, fire and safety engineering, dairy technology, marine technology, it goes on and on. So you look at the one on the right side and you'll understand the kind of specializations that India has built in, which people don't know. I'll take another one, which is linguistics, the other extreme, right? Now this is linguistic. In India, we have 14,436 courses on languages, right? Everyone knows Hindi, language, Telugu, Tamil, all those things are perfectly fine, right? Go down to the next one. There are 2 colleges offering degree courses in Greek. 6 in Latin, 6 in Portuguese, 11 in Korean, Tibetan, Italian, Afzal Ulama. I don't know, but it's there. 17 colleges are offering that course, which is a language course. Now, that is important for a student. If someone says that I want to learn something which is closer to my heart, there are options available. And my only request is, every time when we deal with counselors, every time when we deal with our students, we must deal with them as much as the way we deal with ourselves. Having said that, without information, that's as much as zero. Like, my security guard has been with me for the last 20 years. My driver who brought me here knows me for 25 years. Loyalty, empathy, wisdom don't make a skilled counselor. Information makes them a skilled counselor. You need to have all those things, the listening power, everything. But if you're not updated, for example, today if a student is asked, I want to do a BBA, they direct them to Christ University. Is Christ the best BBA program in the country? Not necessarily so. Since TAPME came in with a BBA program, Christ is no longer the number 1. But people died because they're not updated with the information. So my thing is, you have the future of your students in your hands. If you don't have the right career counselor who is also well informed, not just speaking great English, not just speaking flowery language, not just knowing how to interpret a psychometric test, but much beyond that, of being better informed and keeping themselves updated with data, with information, with the new courses and pathways that are coming in, you will be, the risk is yours, because I think the child deserves a better counselor than what we currently have. Thanks so much.